Continue to read in 2 Samuel chapter 2 in the King James Version. And it came to pass after this that David inquired of the Lord, saying, Shall I go up into any of the cities of Judah? And the Lord said unto him, Go up. And David said, Whither shall I go up? And he said, Unto Hebron. So David went up thither, and his two wives also, Ahinoam the Jezreelite, and Abigail, Nabal's wife, the Carmelite. And his men that were with him did David bring up, every man with his household, and they dwelt in the cities of Hebron. And the men of Judah came, and there they anointed David king over the house of Judah. And they told David, saying, that the men of Jabesh Gilead were they that buried Saul. And David sent messengers unto the men of Jabesh Gilead, and said unto them, Blessed be ye of the Lord, that ye have shewed this kindness unto your Lord, even unto Saul, and have buried him. And now the Lord shew kindness and truth unto you, and I also will requite you this kindness, because ye have done this thing. Therefore now let your hands be strengthened, and be ye valiant, for your master Saul is dead, and also the house of Judah have anointed me king over them. But Abner the son of Ner, captain of Saul's host, took Ishbosheth the son of Saul, and brought him over to Mahanaim, and made him king over Gilead, and over the Asherites, and over Jezreel, and over Ephraim, and over Benjamin, and over all Israel. Ishbosheth, Saul's son, was 40 years old when he began to reign over Israel, and reigned 2 years. But the house of Judah followed David. And the time that David was king in Hebron over the house of Judah was 7 years and 6 months. And Abner, the son of Ner, and the servants of Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, went out from Mahanaim to Gibeon. And Job, the son of Zerai, and the servants of David went out and met together by the pool of Gibeon. And they sat down, the one on the one side of the pool, and the other on the other side of the pool. And Abner said to Job, Let the young men now arise and play before us. And Job said, Let them arise. Then there arose and went over by number 12 of Benjamin, which pertained to Ishbosheth, or even Ishbosheth, I'm the son of Saul, and 12 of the servants of David. And they caught every one his fellow by the head, and thrust his sword in his fellow's side. So they fell down together, wherefore that place was called Helkath Hazarim, which is in Gibeon. And there was a very sore battle that day, and Abner was beaten, and the men of Israel before the servants of David. And there were 3 sons of Zerai there, Job, and Abishai, and Asael. And Asael was as light of foot as a wild roe. And Asael pursued after Abner, and in going he turned not to the right hand nor to the left from following Abner. Then Abner looked behind him and said, Art thou Asael? And he answered him, I am. And Abner said to him, Turn thee aside to thy right hand or to thy left, and lay thee hold on one of the young men, and take thee his armor. But Asael would not turn aside from following of him. And Abner said again to Asael, Turn thee aside from following me. Wherefore should I smite thee to the ground? How then should I hold up my face to Job thy brother? Howbeit he refused to turn aside. Wherefore Abner with the hinder end of the spear smote him under the 5th rib, that the spear came out behind him, and he fell down there and died in the same place. And it came to pass that as many as came to the place where Asael fell down and died stood still. Job also and Abishai pursued after Abner. And the sun went down when they were come to the hill of Ammah, that lieth before Giah by the way of the wilderness of Gibeon. And the children of Benjamin gathered themselves together after Abner, and became one troop, and stood on the top of an hill. Then Abner called to Job, and said, Shall the sword devour forever? Knowest thou not that it will be bitterness in the latter day, or in the latter end? How long shall it be then? ere thou bid the people return from following their brethren. And Job said, As God liveth, unless thou hadst spoken, surely then in the morning the people had gone up every one from following his brother. So Job blew a trumpet, and all the people stood still and pursued after Israel no more, neither fought they any more. And Abner and his men walked all that night through the plain, and passed over Jordan, and went through all Bithron, and they came to Mahanaim. And Job returned from following Abner, and when he had gathered all the people together, there lacked of David's servants 19 men in Asiel. But the servants of David had smitten of Benjamin and of Abner's men, so that 360 men died. And they took up Asiel and buried him in the sepulchre of his father, which was in Bethlehem. And Job and his men went all night, and they came to Hebron at break of day. Okay, so there's a lot in this chapter as well, like I mentioned. But listen to this, because this is really interesting what was going on. So we know that David is going to become king, but listen to what just happened in verse 8. But Abner the son of Ner, captain of Saul's host, took Ishbosheth the son of Saul and brought him over to Mahanaim, and made him king over Gilead, and over the Asherites, and over Jezreel, and over Ephraim, and over Benjamin, and over all Israel. So the people at this point, a lot of the elders and a lot of the people through Samuel had heard as well that David had already been anointed. So it was a known thing that David had been anointed, and people believed as well, because he was commander of the armies, that he would also be king at this time. But some were still under the consideration of Saul and his lineage, because Saul also was anointed. So there may have been a little bit of confusion too, because some people may have not known that David was anointed. But so then Abner, who was a captain of Saul's host, took Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, and brought him and made him king over Israel. And so the followers of David, some of his military people, the three, in particular, 3 brothers, pursued after Abner, because they met together, because they wanted to bring the kingdom back, and they didn't believe that Ishbosheth is the true king. They believed David, and vice versa. Abner believed that David was, that Ishbosheth was going to be king, because Saul was deceased now. So what happens? In verse 19, and Asael pursued after Abner, and in going he turned not to the right hand nor to the left from following Abner, because they did this little battle royale first. And unfortunately, Abner, men representing the rest of Israel, so not Judah, but the rest of Israel. And take note, because this is not the first time they're going to be split up. The tribes of Israel are going to be split up on issues. Remember, there was already an issue with the tribe of Benjamin. So now there's another issue here between the tribes. So what Abner, though, was a person that wasn't an evil person. He was a military person, and he respected the talents of these 3 brothers. And so that's why he said in verse 21, and Abner said to him, Turn thee aside to thy right hand or to thy left, and lay thee hold on one of the young men, and take thee his armor. But Asael would not turn aside from following of him. And so Asael wanted to get rid of Abner, even though Abner was a very good warrior as well. And so there was some competition going on. Bringing past to present. Competition. Have you been in competition? Do you know what competition feels like? Particularly when you're in certain things, and you may hear that other people are just as good as you, or vice versa, that they hear people are just as good as you, or there's some type of competition going on. Is who's the best, who's going to win the prize, or who's going to win or lead or get to the goal first. Competition does happen in life. We can definitely bring the Lord into our thoughts and feelings and our paths in life to help us out. Absolutely, to assist us. But when we don't understand that, yeah, things can happen. You can receive signs, you can receive people telling you something, warnings, and you may not be listening. You may not be listening because your own thoughts and feelings, your own intentions, the strength of your intentions has now blinded you to warnings. And therefore, something can happen. Something bad can happen. Maybe you don't win. But remaining in your walk with the Lord, you can understand more. Sometimes you won't win, even when you are attempting or trying to do something. But there's a reason. There's a reason why. In particular, there was something that I knew that I was really good at. I didn't win, and I was happy not to win because the winner had to do all kinds of stuff that was, and it was like a waste of time to me. Like, besides you were the best at it. It was like, but there was nothing that was enough to benefit as being the winner. If that makes sense? And so sometimes, it's okay not to win. But if the intentions are there and the want is there and the keeping the Lord with you, thinking about him and his glory, hey, definitely you can make that goal. You can be the winner. You can be that number one. But also understand, without other people there too, including your competition, hey, you wouldn't got to the place that you got to. So be grateful and be thankful. It's great to win, but it's also, hey, you did a really good job too. You did a really good job too, and you should be proud of yourself. Yes, a person may have not won, but it's always being encouraging and being thoughtful of others. Before we go on, though, what kind of thoughts or feelings come to your mind when we read over this? How does it make you feel, and what does it make you think?